Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Agnes from class 2C. Here I will do my mid test, and here I will answering the all question. First question is explain about a poem is made of words. We should investigate a little further that it means to say that a poem it is a specially made object in words. In one sense, anything that we say from talk about buying potatoes to saying I love you is made words. Sentence, speeches, and so on are not natural things. We have to learn to speak, and whenever anything is said or written, the words are chosen and arranged by the speaker or writer. Number two, what is the poem about? To think about the words of a poem is to think about its meaning. That's an obvious statement, but saying it is useful because it addresses an anxiety some readers have about poems. The first thing you can do is the realistic. Some poems are so rich in their meanings that a lifetime is needed to appreciate them. If that is so, you can't expect to get very far with them on first acquaintance. Before you begin to think about a poem in detail, it's a good idea to have a general idea as to what it's about. For instance, if it's a narrative poem like the Hostman quote above, you need to be sure that you can follow the main events of the story. Number three, how do the poets use words? Look for a change in tone. Sometimes this can indicate that a word is worth thinking about. Look out for repeated words when a poet uses its word more than once. It is often because it is vital in the building up of the poem's meaning. Look for contrast. This is another guide to important words, figures of speech. When you write about words that fragile interest or give you can pleasure, you will need to master some technical terms. The ones the examiner will expect you to do now are, for is simile, metaphor, conceit, personification, symbol, image, paradox, and ambiguity. Number 4. Explain about metaphor and simile. A metaphor is a figurative language that is used to explain or describe a thing by referring to other things that are considered to have similar characteristics to something or someone who wants to be described. For example, like her eyes are the star in the night sky, or don't ever trust her, her words are venomous snakes. Simile is figurative language that compares two different things directly in order to provide a description or explanation of one of these two things. The notion of simile may seem similar to metaphor, but we also need to know that there is difference between simile and metaphor. The difference is in the simile, the comparison is explicitly or explicitly written using conjunctions such as like, so, as, than, resemble, and which indicate directly that there is something being compared, while in the metaphor it's not. For example, like I believe your future is as bright as the sunlight. Number 5. Explain about caesura. Caesura is a metric pause or break in a verse where one phrase ends in another begins. It can be expressed with a comma, check mark, or two lines, either slash or vertical. In terms of time, this interval can vary from the slightest silent perception to a complete pause. The length of the notate caesura is the conductor discretion. Number 6. Explain about the effect of rhyme, which nearly everybody can recognize rhyme. Few people can talk about its effective. It is clearly not good enough to point out that lines rhyme. To help you think about it, 5 points will be made in readings. First is the technical terms. There are two technical terms associated with rhyme. First is masculine, which occur when words are monosyllabic, and feminine, which occur when words are polysyllabic. And then is creating harmony. When we hear one word rhyme with another, we usually experience pleasure in finding harmony between the two. Harmony creates a feeling of completeness, the sense that something has been resolved or finished. And the next is emphasizing important words. When two words rhyme, you notice them, but can exploit this by using rhyme to to emphasizing important words. There are two particular ways in which this can be done. First is the frequent use of rhyme and internal rhyme, and the next is focusing the meaning. A rhyme ability to focus the meaning of a form is an extension of the way it emphasizes a word. And five is producing comic effect. Rhyme can be comic, particularly when it comes in short lines. Number 7. How do many forms tell stories? Many forms tell stories their early border ballads, such as Sir Patrick Spence or Lord Randall, relate dramatic and sometimes violent tales against the background of a harsh natural as well as social world. In our own day, many of Tony Harrison's poems are narrative in content. In most cases, there's no point in retelling the event for the story. Your teacher or examiner can do that for themselves. Number 8. Explain the repetition of the words. Repetition is a literary device that involves intentionally using a word or phrase for effect two or more times in a speech or written work. For repetition to be noticeable, the words or phrase should be repeated within close proximity of each other. Repeating the same words or phrase in a literary work of poetry or prose can bring clarity to an idea and or make it memorable for the reader. Number 9. Explain about novels are specially made words in words. One of the problems a lot of people have been trying to understand literature is that when we watch the television, we are faced with art that looks as if it's a clear window on the words. To put the point another way, we are presented with art that looks like an unmediated slice of life. What we get, we are led to think is life as it literally is, but no art is like this. No matter what it is, television and films as well as opera and ballet art is something that has been specially made. Number 10. Explain issues in narration. Most first-person narration are present as a looking back upon what has happened. This is usually called retrospective narration. Even the diary section in Collins the Woman in White have a retrospective element. In that altitude, we must imagine the diary to be written up of the end of each day and the writer to be unaware of the long-term consequence of characters' action. It is a retrospective to the extent of looking back on the day's event. What a retrospective narration allows a novelist to do is exploit the distance between the event narrated and the act of narration. Because the narrator looks back, there is a distance in time between the then of the event and the now of the narration. Okay, that's all from me. Wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.